Tom, congratulations on your first win as the GM, and wow, what a win, an emotional win it was. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's a great win, great team effort. I thought Antonio had the players and coaches really well prepared to play a really good team, good organization in a tough environment, and went in there and hung on for 3 quarters, and then really came together in the fourth quarter, and on offense and defense and special teams, which was a big part of it too, and able to pull that one out.
Tom, it was amazing, the last 12-10 in the game. I mean, you're talking about playing under pressure for the players. I mean, you're in the middle of the game. You could be staring at 0-2 if you don't win. And you're down 10. It's not like you're up 10 and you're holding on for the win. You're down, and then it just seemed like everything clicked. Everything you worked on in Costa Mesa, the offseason, building the roster, the confidence came together. Talk about the final 12 minutes of that game and how everything just seemed to fit perfectly.
That's a great point, is that the work that you put in the off-season program here, and then the work that we put in the training camp at Costa Mesa, and then you come back here and you keep practicing and you keep repping it, and it's going to show on game day, but you're not so sure when. So the big part of it is just to keep your confidence and kind of keep coming. And we knew in the fourth quarter, not only do we have to get a couple scores, we're going to get some stops as well, and we're going to have to get some good field position from special teams. And I think once we're able to do that, I think that I came down to the field with about 6 minutes to go, and you could feel the energy on the field, or at least I could feel it. And I watched the game from the press box, so you're enclosed, you're behind the glass, you don't have that same feel. And by the way, when I came down to the field, I didn't realize the amount of Raider fans that are in that stadium. I'm walking through the concourse, and I hear the crowd roar. So I'm thinking Baltimore made a play. I come out of the tunnel, and it was the catch that Devontae made down the sidelines. And so seeing Raider Nation fill that place was pretty cool. But getting back to it, the guys just had a belief going into the game what we had to do. And even though you're down 10, the game's not over yet, and we had to get some stops. And the defense did a great job getting some stops, getting the ball back. And the offense started to finally click a little bit and move the football, and we finished that game off.
Tom Telesco, the GM of the Raiders, joins us. What do you think of the moment, if you didn't see it in real time, but then you heard about Maxx going over to Gardner Minshew when he was struggling early and really saying, "We got you. We will get stops." I thought that was a monster moment in the history of the Las Vegas Raiders, because we've seen Oakland Raiders do that, LA. We don't see it a lot. It just doesn't happen where a defensive captain comes off the field and gets into a quarterback in a positive way and then inspires that quarterback. What do you think of that, Tom?
Yeah, it's pure leadership. I think it's just a great example for every high school player, high school team, college team, to see how that works. There's a team that has to come together and play together. And there's going to be certain times of the year where one side of the ball has to pick up the other side of the ball. And you never know when that's going to be. And this game, it wasn't so much a character builder for us. I just think it's a character verifier. It shows what we have in this locker room, and it obviously shows what Maxx has with this football team, and how players respond to him, and how he handles tough situations. I mean, we're in a really difficult environment to play in against a good team. It wasn't exactly going the way we wanted it to go, and he never lost confidence, and he backs his guys, and that's just incredible to see.
Tom, I know you want to get the running game going. Now, it's a big focal point with Luke Getsy coming in, running the football, the offensive line now trying to play better going forward, and Zamir White and Alexander Madison. What are you seeing up there? Because I know you want to establish the run, even though the passing game really clicked in the third and fourth quarter in Baltimore.
Yeah, it has to get better. It just does, and we'll keep working at it, and yeah, it starts with the offensive line, and a lot of it's just assignment and technique. That's really what it comes down to. You can rep that in practice. Sometimes people think it's a cliche to say this, but it's not. But for a really positive run game, it takes all 11. It's not just the offensive line. It takes the tight ends. It takes the receivers. It takes the quarterback. Even small things about ball handling and carrying out fakes, that all kind of comes into the run game. So we need to get the offensive line going up front. That has to keep coming. The tight ends and receivers have to do their jobs. I mean, most of your big runs in football come from the center getting out the linebackers, and then your receivers and tight ends blocking downfield. So it takes all 11 in that run game to make it go. We're going to keep working at it. We know there's a lot of improvement that has to be made there if we want to get to where we want to go.
GM Tom Telesco is our guest. Wow, Brock Bowers. So for the audience that didn't hear you when you came on with me after the draft, when he was dropping towards you at that pick, and a lot of analysts were saying, what's going on with Brock Bowers? I mean, Denver could use him, the Jets. I thought he'd be perfect with Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. All those other teams, Atlanta went with Michael Penix, and all of a sudden you're sitting in the war room with the coach and the owner, and Brock Bowers is coming to you. You scouted him. You knew what he did, the only two-time Mackey Award winner, two-time national champ. You got him now, and he's off to a hell of a start.
It's been fun to watch. I mean, we knew, coming off last year, just to keep it simple, we had to score more points on offense, and we felt like he was a player that had that capability for us. It's uncommon for any rookie to start off the way he started this season, but he's kind of an uncommon player. He really is. I mean, he's not only physically gifted with athletic ability and speed and hands, but he just has a really natural feel for the game and a great amount of toughness with how he plays. Like, he finishes every run. He plays with enthusiasm. He plays with an edge. And, he's done a really nice job with us starting off this year. We needed him and Devontae to step up, certainly in the second half the other day, and both of them did and made some big plays for us down the stretch. But Brock's been doing a heck of a job for us.
Tom, it seems like this offense, we know what we have because of Devontae. He's a future gold jacket, and Trey's fast. And Jacoby's one of the classiest guys in the league, and I don't even consider him a number 2. He'd be a 1 on a lot of other teams with Michael Mayer and what you have there. And, a lot of fans are telling me, well, throw it to set up the run or run it to set up, go play action. It's just great now. And Luke Getsy, we know what he knows about this team. He worked with this team all offseason. To have the ability to kind of pivot and quickly change a game plan or go with who's hot. That's what I liked about Devontae and Brock in the second half. Devontae's one of the best players in the league. You're down 10, and all of a sudden Devontae gets going, and you could feel that on the sideline.
Yeah, and I think that's why balance is so important, and it's not always necessarily a 50-50 run-pass balance, but it's more of a balance of getting the ball to your playmakers, whether that's tight ends, whether it's receivers, or whether it's backs, either carrying the ball or out of the backfield. So you have to have some different options there. You want to have a good menu that our offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, can go to depending on the situation and depending how teams are playing us. And when someone's number is called, we need them to step up and make a play. We did that later in the game against the Ravens. We have to be much more consistent with that. We can't go in every game thinking in the fourth quarter we're going to try and wear some people out, and now we're going to start moving. So we have to start that earlier. And that's what we're going to start working on this week.
As we wrap this up, I wanted your opinion on, Tyree goes down, Malcolm's on IR. You bring up players from the practice squad, you sign another player. That's really your wheelhouse, right? You're scouting guys, your scouting department, off-season, just looking for maybe that one player that could come in and help you in the short term. And if he proves he could be here long term, that's great. What has that process been like for you? Because with Christian Wilkins, your star signing in the offseason, and what a game he had and Max had, but the depth of the defensive line going forward and what you're seeing.
Yeah, every year this is what you're doing, and it doesn't matter what position it is. Week one, there's usually something going on, usually injury-wise. So you have to try and have to have the strongest. We could dress 48 players on game day, the strongest 48 you can, the strongest 53, and then the strongest practice squad, because all these guys are going to play at some point. Just the way this league works, and we had a couple injuries on the perimeter on the defensive line that we had to bring a couple of guys in that kind of help us a little bit that we think have a chance not only help us short term but long term. And we've seen some younger players like Janarius Robinson and Charles Snowden do some really good things, and hopefully get Tyree back here pretty soon. But on both sides of the ball, it just can't be your 11 starters. You have to be able to have some depth to go to as you move through the season. And even right now, like Christian Wilkins and Max are playing a ton of snaps, and we want our best players out there, but we have to have some players that can step up and take some of that load off them. But even seeing a player like Adam Butler had a great game against Baltimore. I thought he played really well in week one. He's talking about 6'4", 300-pound defensive lineman with just great hustle, quickness and hustle, as far as chasing plays down sideline to sideline, and that stuff's contagious. Obviously, we see it with Max all the time. We've got a lot of other guys, as far as Christian Wilkins and John Jenkins and Adam Butler, that can do the same thing. Nesta Silvera did a really good job chasing down a long run. Those big guys running, that shows up on tape But we're getting some good depth from those guys.
Tom Telesco joins us. So finally, Tom, Andy Dalton's going to play. Bryce Young, that's big national news, and they're benching their number one pick overall from a year ago to go with the veteran. You've been in that situation before when it's the next quarterback has to step up. It's the home opener for the Raiders here. You know Carolina is going to come in really hungry for their first win here with a quarterback that's got a lot of experience in the league as coach prepares the defense for this one with Coach Graham.
Yeah, we've got some work to do this week with the new quarterback, and I know Andy Dalton a couple years ago with New Orleans had a pretty good year with them. But yeah, a lot of experience, a lot of poise in this game. Pretty good athlete to move around in the pocket. And look, every game for us every week is going to be a war. That's just the way it's going to be. This week will be no different. Going into it, we'll perhaps adjust a little bit with having a different quarterback out there. But as AP said, I think on Monday, we have a lot of things on our side we have to get fixed moving forward, and that's what we're concentrating on right now.
All right, and the fans. I was on the sidelines with you for those open practices, and you mentioned it at the state of the team. I mean, the crowd noise when you just have Raider fans at an open practice really impressed you. Now the home opener, your expectation, your message to these fans as you're coming off a monster win in Baltimore where most of the country and the national media didn't think you had a shot, and now you return home to Raider Nation for the home opener. Yeah,
I can't wait. This is my first home regular season game as a Raider. Can't wait for the atmosphere. Saw a little bit of it just being in Baltimore. I mean, that place it is all purple on game day, and there were a lot of silver and black in that stadium. Certainly when I came out to get a feel for it, and that's Raider Nation. And now we're going to see that in our own stadium, and we got to do our part. We got to play some exciting football and some physical football, and give them something to cheer about. And that's the plan. But I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to this game since I took the job, as far as the first regular season game out there to play in front of our own fans, and I can't wait to get out there.
Thank you, Tom. Congratulations again. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care. Thank you, JT.